Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. The vampire fish. The vampire fish spends its entire life living in the rivers of the Amazon. It's called the vampire fish because of its preposterous fangs. This fish has a mouth filled with teeth. It has 2 rows of extremely sharp fangs and 2 massive daggers that give it such a brutal reputation. The fangs extend upward from its jaw about 6 inches, but the teeth aren't serrated or particularly sharp. They are more like railroad spikes, designed for puncturing victims like pointy skewers. According to the International Game Fish Association, the largest vampire fish on record weighed about 40 pounds and was 3.5 feet long. That's larger than the more famous piranha, and to be honest, the vampire fish is significantly deadlier. They are notoriously aggressive, antisocial, and hostile toward humans. There are no known cases of a human being killed by the fangs of a vampire fish, but that doesn't mean it's never happened. In the wilds of the Amazon, not every fish-related death is written down in an official record. Number 9. Prehistoric river rat. In the Amazon jungle, there was once a rat as big as a person. This gigantic forest rat could reach an astounding length of about 5 feet, earning it the title of the biggest rodent to ever live in South America. Scientists called it Neopiblema acrensis, and it had 2 huge incisors that were curved for slicing apart its victims and also for chewing on nuts. This monster looked extremely similar to any rat you might find in your local sewer, only it was the same size as most average-sized humans. This thing would have been able to stand on its hind legs, push you onto the ground with its front legs, and then eat you alive. And seeing as this thing was a rodent, it would have had about 300 or 400 of its friends there to help. We know about this terrifying rat because there were 2 skulls discovered at a fossil site in the western Brazilian Amazon. One of these skulls was so perfectly preserved it still had impressions of the rat's brain. Scientists were able to look at detailed imprints of olfactory bulbs that process odor, and they also had a full view of the frontal and temporal lobes. This allowed them to be able to see how the rat controlled its thoughts and actions. To give you an idea of how big this rat was, it was almost double the size of a capybara, the world's current largest rodent. The prehistoric rat weighed 176 pounds and went extinct roughly 10 million years ago. While it may not be a creature living today, it does give us a glimpse into the prehistoric world of giant tropical forest monsters. Huge rats, snakes that could grow 40 feet long, and sloths as big as polar bears. Number 8. The creepiest arachnids. The Goliath bird eater is the biggest spider on the planet, and one of the most horrifying things you can find in the Amazon. It can grow nearly 6 inches in length, and with its legs spread out, it's roughly the size of a dinner plate. Although it's so big and scary looking, it's completely harmless. The only creatures in danger from the Goliath bird eater are the birds and lizards it eats. Like the praying mantis, the female bird eater eats the male when they're finished mating. The female eats her partner to get an extra boost of nutrients, and then will lay about 200 eggs. The Goliath bird eater is only one of many spiders that live in the Amazon jungle. There's the giant fishing spider as well, that weaves its webs above the water. However, the fishing spider's real talent is that it can spend up to 1 hour underwater while it looks for food. It can even sail across the water like a living boat, using the wind to push its body across the surface. It's such a clever predator that it's adapted to eating everything from lizards to tadpoles and even small fish. Number 7. The Amazonian puma. The mountain lion is known by many different names. Some call it a cougar, others call it a puma, and many call it a panther. Whatever you want to call it, the mountain lion is a giant cat and one of the world's greatest apex predators. There are 6 distinct subspecies of puma ranging from North America throughout the jungles of Central America and stretching as far as the tip of South America. What makes the puma a truly fascinating creature is that almost every Native American group from the frozen north of Canada to the great cities of the Inca believed the huge cat had symbolic significance. The Inca believed the puma represented strength, intelligence, and wisdom. The ancient city of Cusco was likely built in the shape of a puma, and the sacred Lake Titicaca's name roughly translates to Mount of the Puma. In South America, the mountain lion can be found in just about every nation. They live high up in the Andes Mountains as well as the jungles of Venezuela. They stalk the Amazon just like they stalk the forests of Canada, always searching for prey, covering huge swaths of land all by themselves. According to the Mountain Lion Foundation, the puma population is not increasing, and more are being killed now than ever before because of habitat destruction, trophy hunting, poaching, poisoning, and being struck by vehicles on the roadways. And now for number 6. But first, want to give a quick shout out to Steve Roston and Connie Kutruzula. Thanks so much for watching and supporting Origins Explained. If you are new here, welcome, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like these. Number 6. Giant river otter. The giant Amazonian river otter is the biggest otter in the world, growing to an unimaginable length of almost 6 feet. These things are huge and reside in the Amazon basin of South America. They look quite similar to other otters, only much larger. Surprisingly, a single Amazonian otter can grow as long as most people are tall. Oddly enough, these otters are closely related to other mammals like the badger and the wolverine. They are also extremely dangerous because of the simple fact that they live in massive family groups. Giant otters are too smart to be wandering through the Amazon jungle by themselves. They can typically be found in groups of up to about 20 individuals. A single 6-foot otter may not be deadly on its own, but try fighting 20 of them at the same time. An organized group of giant otters can take down a fully grown caiman, or basically any other large predator that lives in the jungle. These guys are so smart and so quick, they are known for hunting anacondas and wiping out entire schools of piranhas. Sadly, giant otters are currently listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List. They were vulnerable up until 1996 and have been endangered since the year 2000. We can't be sure, but these fierce river critters may not be around much longer. Number 5. River sharks. As hard as it is to believe, there are sharks in the Amazon River. You could find yourself being mauled by a 265-pound bull shark, thousands of miles from its home in the ocean. Surprisingly, one of these sharks was captured near the Amazonian jungle town of Iquitos, Peru in 1963. The bull shark is not a native resident of the Amazon jungle. Like most sharks, they live in the ocean, where there's salt water. And yet the bull shark has a strange evolutionary adaptation that allows it to tolerate being in fresh water for long stretches of time. It's one of only 2 living species of shark that can stomach fresh water, and the other is the appropriately named river shark. How they manage to survive in fresh water is the truly interesting part about these creatures. The bull shark has osmoregulating kidneys that sense when the salinity of the water changes. The kidneys then switch gears and recycle vital salt throughout the body since there is no more salt in the water. Most scientists think bull sharks wander into the Amazon River from the ocean for reproduction purposes. Bull sharks, over millions of years, have learned that their young have a better chance of survival if they are born in the river. The baby bull shark doesn't have as many huge predators to worry about in the river as in the open ocean. Then, after the bull shark grows up, it will find its own way back to the sea. Number 4. Armored suckermouth catfish. The armored suckermouth catfish, commonly called plecos, is a surprising creature from the Amazon rainforest that can not only swim, but can also move around on land. In fact, the way that it moves around on land is so strange and unique that scientists had to make up a new word for it. They call it reffling. According to Noah Bressman from Salisbury University, reffling is a form of terrestrial locomotion, and it's unlike anything seen in any other animal. Bressman recently published a study on these strange Amazonian fish, and he has a whole research facility dedicated specifically to learning more about how fish walk. He has found that plecos can walk over 50 feet from the nearest body of water to search for earthworms flopping around on the dirt. Even though these strange catfish are native to the Amazon, they can be found everywhere from Arizona to North Carolina. The lyre-tailed pleco is a popular pet, something you usually see clinging to the glass wall of an aquarium. Irresponsible aquarium keepers have dumped so many of these catfish into ponds and lakes that they have taken over huge parts of North America. In total, there are over 920 described species of armored sucker-mouth catfish. Every single pleco belongs to the Loricariidae family, making it difficult to talk about one individual fish. Still, most have the ability to walk on land, and some can even climb up waterfalls using wiggling motions like inchworms. Number 3. The mantis. Leo Lana with National Geographic recently did an in-depth study on the praying mantis. Leo and his team were given a grant by the National Geographic Society to spend a month in the Amazon jungle in order to study the unknown species that typically only come out at night. They used specialized UV lights to identify these strangely alluring insects in the darkness. During their research, which took place in October of 2021, Leo and his team discovered 10 potentially new praying mantis species, and he says he could possibly find more if given additional time and resources. The praying mantis is one of the coolest insects in the jungle. The most terrifying part of the mantis is that the female is significantly larger than the male. And after the male and female mate to make little mantis babies, the female kills and decapitates the male. It's a first date that ends in murder. One of the more interesting recently discovered mantis species is the unicorn mantis. This is a very strange version of the mantis with a long, horn-like structure sticking out from its head. The unicorn mantis lives in Brazil. It has a dusky red body, and nobody's entirely sure what the purpose of its horn is. Number 2. Venomous serpents. The Amazon rainforest covers about 2.72 million square miles, roughly the same amount of land as 48 continental states in the United States. And no matter where you travel, there are going to be snakes that can kill you. The bushmaster, as an example, is the longest venomous snake found anywhere in the Americas. It lives throughout the shallow Amazon basin all the way to Costa Rica, growing to a terrifying length of 10 feet. There are 3 different kinds of bushmasters, and each one has lethal venom. These snakes are considered pit vipers, meaning they have infrared pits on their heads that are used to pick up heat signatures like the predator. The only good news is that the bushmaster would rather eat a tiny rodent than waste its venom biting a person. Still, if you happen to step on one, its venom is so potent that you would most likely die. However, not all of the deadly snakes in the jungle are scary. The eyelash viper, the smallest venomous snake in Central America, only grows to about 15 inches long and is a vibrant yellow color. It's honestly adorable, unless it sinks its fangs into you, which would almost certainly lead to death. Then you have the Amazonian coral snake, said to be the most venomous serpent on the planet. They are black, red, and yellow in color, and their appearance is so distinct that other snakes copy the colors to try and look more menacing. One of the scariest parts about the coral snake is that after it injects its venom, it takes a long time for it to kick in. And if someone bitten by a coral snake doesn't get antivenom in time, they typically become paralyzed and then go into cardiac arrest. There is also an aquatic version of the coral snake, so you're not safe on land or in the water. Number 1. New species. The Brazilian Amazon is so rich in life and biodiversity that explorers find a new species of plant or animal almost every single day. Even still, scientists are worried that for every new species they find, another goes extinct. This incredible information comes from a recent review of newfound species conducted by the World Wildlife Fund. The organization tracked every new vertebrate and plant species found in the Amazon between 2014 and 2015. Shockingly, they identified 381 reports of new species. These included 216 plants, 93 fish, 32 amphibians, 19 reptiles, 20 mammals, and 1 new bird species. That's a pretty impressive list of new species being found in just 2 years during the 2010s. The most shocking part was how many mammals and reptiles were found. Pedro Nasser, a local biologist in Brazil, said he couldn't believe how long the 39 mammals and reptiles had evaded detection. One of the newly discovered mammals was a monkey, and it's been nicknamed the fire-tailed zoge zoge. Researchers even found a new river dolphin, and this was in the midst of the Yangtze River dolphin in China going extinct. The point behind this study is that the Amazon is home to all kinds of amazing animals, many of which we still haven't found. However, with the accelerated rates of habitat destruction, most of the newly discovered species will likely be extinct before they are ever studied in any real detail. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite animal from the Amazon? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you next time! Bye!